upon a time, a lot of my degree was focusing on modern European history, hence you will find me in Berlin talking about Germany, because modern European history for the last 150 years. But you can see around us, like, most of what we're passing is like post-war builds, and we're not even in the kind of area where 80% of the city centre would have been destroyed. We're going to drive there a little bit later on. Important figure with regards to drawing international attention, particularly British and US attention, to the Berlin blockade. So in Rottenburg, it's named after Sophie Charlotte, who was the first Queen of Prussia, wife of the first Prussian King, Frederick I. So Sophie Charlotte Prussia in the hope that people will buy the porcelain, invest in the porcelain manufacturing. Problem is, no one can afford to buy the porcelain.
So sorry guys, I just got a message from my boss and she was like, one bus has got 70 people to get tomorrow. So I just messaged her being like, up to 50, I don't know. We're crossing the road here, sorry. Guys, we're heading over towards the US Embassy there.
Right, when it comes to the French Embassy, which is quite interesting to see.
House. So that is where Berlin's mayor works out of. Berlin's mayors are a colourful bunch. Building, still a lot of property that is empty, waiting for either demolishing or reappropriation. This is why Berlin. See, there's a crane up ahead of us, looming over that building just to the right. There is cranes everywhere in Berlin. If you looked along the skyline, you would just see cranes as far as the eye can see. Lots and lots of development taking place. Has been the case for the last couple of days. Project, this kind of cream coloured building. They are reconstructing the Prussian Royal Palace that became the German Royal Palace. So this is where the kings of Prussia and the Kaisers of Germany used to rule from the heart of Berlin on our left-hand side. Right-hand side, Berlin Cathedral, finished in 1905, a Protestant counterweight to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, bombarded during World War II, rebuilt between the early 70s and 1993. Right-hand side there is the Lustgarten, the Garden of Pleasure, central part of the Museum Island that we've just driven onto. We can see the old museum on our right-hand side, Museum of Ancient Greece and Ancient Rome, classical antiquity, after Karl Friedrich Schinkel, who shapes Berlin architecturally in the kind of early mid-19th century. He designed the old museum as well. Right-hand side with the scaffolding on the houses the memorial to the victims of war and tyranny. On the left-hand side, the square opening up to our left, this is Babelplatz. So this is where, on the 10th of May 1933, there was a huge organised student protest culminating in a book burning here in Berlin under the Nazis, replicated in other big German university towns as well. Students back to the square, they set them alight come the evening. So a really aggressive program of state censorship starting in Nazi Germany. Library on our right-hand side. We are driving down Unter den Linden, Berlin's most important historical boulevard. Unter den Linden translates as underneath the lime trees. So you'll see further ahead of us there is lime trees all the way down the boulevards. As you walk down the road, you walk underneath the limes. Unter den Linden in Berlin is known as the city of degenerates in the 1920s. People embracing hedonism and nihilism after the disaster of the First World War and the kind of economic collapse after the Treaty of Versailles and the reparations repayments. A building with a dome on top. The one with the terracotta tiles on the roof, that's the original French church that was built here in 1701-1705 to cater for the Huguenots coming in. The French dome was finished in 1785, a little while later, under the guidance of Frederick the Great, who was looking to transform Berlin into a worthy European capital city, aesthetically and culturally rivaling Paris and Vienna. Opposite side of the square, this is Gendarmenmarkt on our right, is Berlin's most beautiful square. We're going to just pause the bus if you want an opportunity to take photos. You'll run past this on Sunday, so you can breathe in the most beautiful square north of the Alps, literally. Gendarmenmarkt is like an amalgamation of a German and a French word. So gendarme is French for like